right when things seemed to be falling into place, and momentum was starting to build at Ibrox. Rangers have been hit with a blow that's left supporters frustrated and asking fresh questions about where this squad is truly heading. Behind the scenes, what looked like a done deal just a few days ago has completely collapsed, and now the club faces renewed pressure to find answers with time ticking down. It's another reminder, brutal but love how unforgiving the process of rebuilding at the top of the Scottish game can be, especially when you're trying to go toe-to-toe with clubs from south of the border who simply have more financial muscle. Now, before we dive deeper into the chaos in the transfer window, let's take a moment to talk about something a bit more inspiring. Last night at Ibrox, a teenager who many fans had barely heard of stole the spotlight in a way that number one quite expected. Finley Curtis, just 19 years old and making his first ever start in a European competition, was thrown into the mix by Russell Martin in what could have been a high-pressure disaster. But instead of folding under the weight of the occasion, the lad rose to it. He broke the deadlock in the second half with his first ever senior goal and played like someone twice his age, full of confidence and fight. And who was watching it all unfold from the director's box? None other than Sir Alex Ferguson himself. Now imagine that your European debut, you score a crucial goal, and after the final whistle you get pulled aside in the dressing room for a chat by the most legendary Scottish manager of all time. That's exactly what happened to Curtis. According to Martin, Sir Alex gave the young winger some proper words of wisdom after the 2-0 win over Panathinaikos, and you could see what it meant to the boy. Martin was full of praise, saying he hopes this is only the beginning for Curtis. He knows the challenge now is to keep the lad grounded and hungry, because talent is one thing, but mentality is everything at a club like Rangers. He pointed out how Curtis had a shaky first half just like many of the others, but took the coaching at halftime, came back out with a better attitude, and kept running for the team. That says a lot about his character, and if he keeps that up, Rangers might have unearthed something very special. Martin was also keen to highlight how much tougher they'll become because of matches like these. He admitted they had some rough patches in the first half even after starting well. Panathinaikos aren't a walkover. They've got experienced players, a solid coach, and more time working together as a unit than this current Rangers squad. But what stood out was the resilience. The team came through those difficult spells with composure, and the fans played their part too. Even when things weren't flowing, the Ibrox crowd stuck with the team, roared them on, and helped push them over the line. That kind of backing can't be taken for granted. It makes a real difference, and Martin knows it. But while things on the pitch offered some hope and excitement, off the pitch reality bit hard. One of Rangers' key summer targets has officially slipped through their fingers, and it's a decision that stings. Owen Beck, the Liverpool fullback who impressed on loan at Dundee, had been heavily linked with a move to Ibrox. Everything pointed toward him becoming a major part of Martin's new look side. His style seemed tailor-made for the way Rangers want to play: quick, smart, tactically sound, and with the kind of delivery that could wreak havoc down the left. Fans were already penciling him into the starting 11, but just like that, it's all off. Beck has decided to head back to England and sign with Derby County in the EFL Championship. It's a tough one to take. Rangers had meaningful discussions with Liverpool, and there was a real sense of optimism that Beck was on board with the project. But when push came to shove, Derby's offer turned out to be more appealing. The promise of consistent starts in a physically demanding, highly visible league tipped the scales in their favor. Beck sees the championship as a stepping stone to cracking the Liverpool first team in the future, a platform Rangers simply couldn't match, even with the lure of European football and the chance to be a star in Glasgow. For the Rangers hierarchy, this is more than just losing out on a player. It highlights the ongoing challenge of convincing top young talents to choose Scotland over England, even when the Scottish club is offering bigger stages and more responsibility. Beck was seen as a priority signing. His performances in the Premiership last season showed maturity, poise, and a clear fit for Martin's tactics. Losing him now forces the club to scramble again, heading back to their shortlist with a little less time and a little more pressure. What makes it even more frustrating is that Beck ticked all the boxes. He's young but already tested. He's come through an elite academy system at Liverpool, but also shown he can handle the rough and tumble of Scottish football. And with Rangers needing a left back who can bomb forward and also defend with discipline, he looked like the ideal solution. But Derby moved fast. They presented a clear vision, promised regular minutes, and Beck bought in. It's a blow, no doubt. And while nobody inside Ibrox is panicking yet, this kind of miss does raise questions about how effectively the club is navigating this transfer window. Supporters were already getting anxious about defensive reinforcements, and now that concern has only grown. If Martin can't bring in the right players before the window shuts, the season could get off to a much rockier start than anyone wants. And the hard truth is that Scottish clubs are going to keep running into this wall battling with English sides. Who can offer more money, more exposure, and a different path to the top? Even clubs outside the Premier League are flexing serious power in the market, and that's a reality Rangers have to contend with. Beck's decision is just one example, but it's a telling one. It shows that despite all the tradition, the stadium, the trophies, and the Champions League qualifiers, that's not always enough. Players are thinking about their careers long-term, and sometimes that means taking a step sideways or even down in order to go up later. Derby offered Beck the chance to be a key player every week, in a challenging competitive environment, and in the eyes of a young defender dreaming of making it at Anfield, that made all the difference. The focus now has to shift. Martin and his recruitment team need to move quickly to find another name that fits the bill. The summer isn't over yet, and there's still time to get things right. But the clock is ticking, and another near miss won't be received well by a fanbase already on edge. Expectations are sky-high this season, and patience is wearing thin. The rebuild was never going to be easy, but moments like this show just how fine the margins really are, and that's not the only headache brewing at Ibrox right now. There's another situation quietly escalating in the background that could explode into a full-blown transfer saga if things don't move soon. Hamza Imerman, the 22-year-old Moroccan forward, who's been a standout for Rangers in recent months, is at the center of growing speculation about a possible departure after catching the eye with a string of electric performances. European clubs are circling. Lille have shown strong interest, but so far no deal has materialized. Still, the feeling around the club is that something's going to give. Martin has made it clear he's planning to use Imerman in the Champions League qualifier against Panathinaikos, but even he knows this situation could change fast. Now Feyenoord have entered the race, and reports suggest they're preparing a serious offer, one that could force Rangers' hand. For a club that's fully committed to a player trading model, this might be the perfect time to cash in. There's even talk behind the scenes that holding onto Imerman too tightly could backfire. Some voices around the club have been blunt, warning that if Rangers are offered a figure around £10 million, they should take it and move on. The idea is simple: you bought low, developed the player, and now you sell high and reinvest. That's the model, but the risk comes if they don't have a replacement ready. Let Imerman go without a solid plan, and you're suddenly light in a key attacking area right when the season is about to kick off, and that's where things could get complicated fast, because it's not just Imerman on the radar of other clubs. Cyril Dessus is also attracting attention, this time from AEK Athens. If both forwards were to leave, the pressure on sporting director Kevin Felwell would be immense. The recruitment strategy would be under the microscope, and any missteps could have real consequences on the pitch. Right now, Rangers are walking a tightrope. They've got assets that are attracting attention and offers that are tempting, but they also have ambitions to win the league, to qualify for Europe, to restore pride and dominance. Balancing those goals with the reality of the modern transfer market is no small task, and every decision from here on out will be watched closely. The truth is, Rangers are now entering a period where every move counts, and there's little room left for error. Supporters have been patient, more patient than many give them credit for, but that patience has limits, and the clock is ticking louder with every passing day. The failed pursuit of Owen Beck has already raised questions, but the potential sale of Hamza Imerman could spark even more division among the fans, especially if there's no clear replacement waiting in the wings. Rangers can't afford to be caught short again. This is a squad that still needs refinement, depth, and clarity across the pitch. And as the European qualifiers approach with growing intensity, the pressure on the recruitment team is immense. That's the delicate dance the club finds itself performing now. Sell too quickly and you risk damaging the team's competitiveness in the short term. Hold on too long and you risk missing out on serious money. Or worse, ending up with an unhappy player whose focus and attitude start to slip. Imerman, for all his talent and recent performances, is not immune to that. You can see the ambition in his play. He's a player that wants to go places. And if Rangers don't make a move soon, that desire could start boiling over into frustration. That's the reality of player power in the modern game. These days, when a move doesn't happen, things can turn sour in the dressing room faster than you think. And it's not just about the money either. Sure, £10 million is a hefty chunk of change for a club like Rangers. And the idea of flipping a low-cost signing into a multi-million-pound sale is the dream scenario under the player trading model. But there's something more important at stake here: the ability to keep competing at the highest level while building a squad that's sustainable. The timing of exits matters just as much as the price. Let someone go at the wrong moment and you can derail an entire season. Do it right and you can build something stronger. That's the balance Martin and his staff are trying to strike right now, and it's not easy. Behind all of this, there's a growing sense that the Scottish game as a whole is hitting a ceiling. Clubs like Rangers are expected to challenge in Europe, dominate domestically, and develop talent all at the same time, often on a fraction of the budget of English Championship sides. And when those English sides come calling with better wages, better facilities, and a clearer path to the Premier League, it's tough to compete. Beck choosing Derby over Rangers was a harsh reminder of that. And now with Imerman, it's the same battle playing out all over again, just with a different player and a different league involved. But despite these frustrations, there's still a belief that something can be built here. Martin hasn't shied away from the challenge. He knows the expectation and he understands the weight of the job. He's made it clear from day one that this isn't just a short-term rebuild. It's about laying foundations that will last. And that means taking risks, developing players, and sometimes, yes, saying goodbye to the ones who've outgrown the project. But those departures only work if the next crop is ready to step in. And that's where the eyes of the support are now fixed on the boardroom, on the recruitment team, and on who comes through the doors next, because make no mistake, more signings are needed. The defense still feels short of cover, especially on the left side where Beck was supposed to fit in. The midfield lacks a bit of creativity when key players are missing. And up front, if Imerman and Dessus do end up leaving the club, we'll be left scrambling to fill massive gaps. At the sharp end of the pitch, it's a situation that could turn very quickly, and the concern among fans is that there isn't enough urgency being shown to address it. You only need to look at last season to see what happens when depth is lacking. Injuries pile up, confidence dips, and suddenly the title race becomes an uphill battle. Rangers can't afford to start this campaign the same way. The support has seen too many false dawns, too many transfer windows full of promise but short on delivery. This summer has to be different. If the right pieces come in, this squad can compete. But if it's more near misses and reactive deals at the last minute, then the pressure will fall squarely on the manager's shoulders, and it won't be pretty. The next few weeks will define the tone of the season. The European qualifiers are not just about making it to the group stage. They're a chance to lay down a marker to prove that this squad is moving in the right direction. Financially, qualifying for the Champions League makes a huge difference, but it also signals intent. It shows that Rangers belong at that level and are capable of navigating tough fixtures under pressure. That's why every decision between now and the end of the window matters so much. A bad call now could cost millions. A good one could spark momentum that carries all the way to May. And in the middle of it all, Martin is trying to build something cohesive. You can see the fingerprints of his philosophy already: more pressing, more intensity, more technical quality in key areas. But philosophy alone doesn't win titles. It needs players who buy in, players who can execute the plan and stand up in the big moments. Curtis might be one of those. There may be others coming through, but there's no doubt reinforcements from outside are still needed. And for that to happen, the club has to move with purpose, decisiveness, and clarity. That's what fans are demanding now: clarity, not just about who's being targeted, but about the overall vision. Who's leading the recruitment? What kind of player are we after? Are we building for now or for the future? Because right now it feels like there's a bit of a gap between what's being said and what's being done. The ambition is there, no doubt, but ambition without execution means nothing in this game. And with each passing day, the gap between words and actions becomes harder to ignore. That's why so many eyes are on Kevin Felwell right now. The sporting director's role is critical in moments like this, and his ability to deliver over the next few weeks could shape how the season unfolds. Whether it's negotiating exits, identifying replacements, or pulling off a surprise signing or two, the margin for error is small. There's a feeling that this is the most important transfer window Rangers have faced in years. The squad needs to evolve, the team needs to win, the fans need to believe again. And belief is a fragile thing. It can be built with a few good results, a breakout star, or a smart signing that gets people talking. But it can be lost just as easily through silence, indecision, or the sense that opportunities are being missed. The Beck situation hurt because it felt avoidable. Imerman's potential exit will hurt even more if there's no plan in place. And if another key name follows them out the door without proper replacement, the entire rebuild could be in jeopardy. That's the backdrop to the coming weeks at Ibrox, a mixture of excitement And anxiety, hope, and frustration, the foundation, is there. The core of the team is solid. The manager has a vision. But the pieces around that core still need to fall into place and fast. If they do, Rangers can challenge. If they don't, the same old questions will come back and the same old problems will resurface. Before we continue, make sure to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications to get all the exclusive news about Rangers FC. Don't overlook any details about your beloved team. It's crucial for Rangers FC fans. Whispers around Ibrox have grown louder this week after reports surfaced that Cody, the seasoned center-half, has turned down a formal approach from Rangers, and it's not just about footballing reasons. So the chatter goes. Sources close to the player suggest that his decision was based less on the club's ambitions and more on what he discovered behind the scenes during initial talks. There's a growing feeling among insiders that the mood inside the Rangers camp is far from harmonious. Cody, known for his leadership and no-nonsense style, was said to be taken aback by the dressing room atmosphere during informal visits and discussions. A well-placed source hinted that he didn't like what he saw, describing the environment as fractured and lacking the unity he values so highly in a squad. The plot thickens with murmurs about the current boardroom direction. Cody, not one to mince words, reportedly shared concerns with close friends about the state of the club's leadership. There's no clear plan, he's believed to have said privately. They're pulling in different directions, while Rangers continue to present a united front publicly. The rumor mill suggests that all is not well within the executive offices at Ibrox. Cody's snub, should it be confirmed, will sting. The former Wolves and Everton defender would have brought vital experience and stability to a side still seeking to re-establish dominance domestically and make a dent in Europe. His refusal hints at deeper issues that go beyond one signing falling through. No official word has come from either camp, of course, as is often the case with these stories. But the silence speaks volumes, and the fans are left wondering what exactly is going on behind closed doors. Is this just a missed opportunity, or is it a sign of bigger troubles brewing in Govan? Only time will tell, but for now, the Cody affair adds yet another twist in the ongoing saga at Rangers, and the supporters, ever watchful, will be demanding answers. Greetings, fans. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, as it's greatly appreciated by Rangers FC. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments section below. Until the next video, stay tuned.